Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Brody. Thank y'all for tapping into Broadcast Wrestling Episode 4. It is September 3rd, 2023. Good morning to you all. Hope you all are doing well. Once again, I know last week was a pretty sad episode. Bray Wyatt's passing affected us all. It was a really sad situation. Still mourning his loss, and still a tough situation. However, we're going to have to talk about something today that's a lot more lighthearted, a lot more fun, and something that has really been brewing and keeping my interest in wrestling over the last year or so, because it has been such a big, overpowering story. And this is a story that comes out of AEW involving CM Punk, who last night it was announced that he was officially fired from All Elite Wrestling. And this situation is one of the more comedic, stupidly, poorly handled situations I've ever seen in professional wrestling, in sport, in company, period. Because of just how all this stuff with him has escalated to this point now, to where AEW is essentially going to be losing the biggest draw that they've ever had. So, a few weeks ago, I did an episode where I went through AEW and I talked about the pros and the cons of AEW. And one of the big things that I talked about within that episode as being a real negative was how the backstage problems and the backstage issues at this company have overtaken a lot of the good things that happen on screen, where it seems like there's constant problems backstage, there's constant rumors, there's constant gossip that leaks out, and it's always a story about mistreatment of people within the workplace, whether that's the women being bullied by other women backstage, or this situation with CM Punk, where rumors started to swirl that he wanted to get someone fired as he was coming into the company. And it escalated up into pretty much a snap on the executive vice president CM Punk had on the executive vice presidents as the Young Bucks, who are a part of the Elite, hence in the name, All Elite Wrestling. And a snapping at them from CM Punk in a media press conference, which also turns into a physical altercation between CM Punk and those guys, where they got their asses whooped. I mean, there's no way around it. That's what happened. They got their asses whooped, thinking shit was sweet. And that led to this division within the locker room, where you have to pick a side. You're either Team Elite or you're Team CM Punk. Still no real resolution, nobody being the adult grown man within the room telling them, hey guys, let's sit down and let's work this out. But no, it led to a real separation within the locker room, where a whole other show was created specifically for CM Punk because, well, the executive vice presidents, the Young Bucks, they don't want to sit down and hash things out with this man. So we can't just let him go. We have to find a way to make everyone happy here and not ruffle any feathers. Create a whole nother show. The show starts. There was even problems with CM Punk in the show being announced because, once again, the executive vice president's going out, starting rumors. And at this point, based off everything I've ever heard coming out this whole situation, I do wholeheartedly believe that. I really don't think that they're not spreading these rumors around, because every time a rumor or something comes out, every time you hear a story or you heard a story about CM Punk coming out that locker room, it always was one-sided. It was never a name or a face that was ever put to these things. However, Punk would come out and put a name and put a face to everything that he felt in response, which was a very interesting thing to me, because why would he do that if it wasn't a situation where people were putting out things about him purposefully? But even with this show coming out, still no resolution between the Young Bucks and CM Punk. There was still this level of divide. Of course, CM Punk is throwing shots because he's just that type of individual. And everything has now culminated into Punk getting fired over a fight that happened with Jungle Boy Jack Perry over him wanting to use real glass and CM Punk saying, no, you shouldn't use real glass, it's unsafe. And once again, the rumors came out, the rumors and the gossip started to swirl that he did that because Jack Perry wanted to go on vacation when he was already scheduled for a vacation anyway. So it's an entangled web of gossip, rumors, and just bullshit. I mean, that's really all you can call it, is bullshit. Not bullshit because it may not be true, but bullshit because all this stuff is so irrelevant and it shouldn't even matter this much. Like, it just shouldn't. It really shouldn't be that big of a deal in either way. But it has become that big of a deal. It led to the fight at All In. Before the show even started, Tony Khan was around for this fight. And based on his quote last night where he was saying he felt like the locker room was in danger, he was in danger, his life was in danger. And those are his words. Those are things that he said. It all culminated into CM Punk getting fired last night. Tony Khan making that statement. And all of this being mishandled to the point to where AEW has officially now lost the biggest draw that they had. And people can say what they want. CM Punk, when he came in, had garnered the highest pay-per-view buy rate out of anyone with his name on the marquee. He validated them so much he was able to get them another show, and people can say what they want about why the show was created. I do think that for any other wrestler in a situation like the one that AEW had, another show would not have been created for them. But the executives at Warner Brothers wanted this man so bad to continue to be on the roster. They gave them, as my alarm goes off, they gave him another night. They gave the company another night of wrestling because they wanted to keep this man on payroll that bad. The biggest merch seller has sold the highest amount of merch out of anybody in the company. All of these things. And the man still gets fired. Now, personally, if he's just going around beating people up because he's having disagreements with him, they're well within their rights to fire him, which is fine. You know, if I do think that if you got to conduct yourself a certain type of way backstage, and violence is not the answer in the workplace, people get fired for less. He got lucky and was able to be violent twice, or at least once, and be able to just get suspended and ride out. Can't do it a second time. Completely understandable. Got to do what you got to do. But the real issue and the problem with this entire situation and the way that this situation has played out is that it is very clear and it is very obvious that all of this was done very strategically. It wasn't a situation where this man just acted out for no reason. It seems like at every turn, CM Punk was good. You know, business was good, everything was nice, but this random rumor or gossip would come out about how CM Punk did this to make this person mad, or how this person didn't like CM Punk over this, or whatever the case might be. And it felt like every time a rumor like that would come out, CM Punk would be bold enough to not only rebut it and say, hey, that didn't happen like that, but he would put his name and he would put his face with that rebuttal and say, dude, y'all are full of shit. Y'all like, what? That don't even make sense. However, the other side, it just never seemed to happen. And this is how I know that the other side was putting stuff out and how I'm confident in making that bold assessment, that bold accusation, because it just felt like every time a rumor came out, it was never anything positive about CM Punk. However, the people in the locker room that he was working with or had worked with, they said nothing but nice things about him, you know, about how helpful he was, how he wanted to work with the younger talent. I mean, shit, for crying out loud, his first match coming back was against Darby Allin. Like, and Darby Allin is one of the originals of AEW, one of the four pillars, quote unquote, even though I think that's fucking stupid, of AEW. And that was who he personally requested to work with coming back into professional wrestling after a 7-year hiatus. That was the person. He could have worked with anybody. That was the person. And you know what? If I'm being honest here and looking back and thinking about it, I really think that may have been the catalyst and the start of all this even happening. Because why work with this younger talent when you could work with one of the elite? You know, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, which he eventually did work with. Why not work with one of them coming back? You know, that's what this company is built and bred on anyway, right? But things started to come out. Things started to happen. And for me, personally, this was like the thing that has now completely turned me off from really watching AEW as much as I once did. CM Punk was the reason that I was like, hey, I need to start following this and start really taking this seriously. But the antics and the way that all these things have played out has officially turned me off and has soured me from this company and this product, because between this CM Punk issue that has happened, some of the other bullying accusations that have came out through the women's locker room stories that have come out, the Big Swole interview that happened, 2 years ago now, maybe a year ago, I don't know. So much shit that the timelines for me have got messed up, where she was mistreated in the way that she was let go from the company, and how Tony Khan pretty much went out and trashed her as a professional, trashed her abilities, even though she worked for this company. Still never got an apology. Don't think he would have did that if it wasn't a black woman saying that. Like, all these issues, all these backstage issues, it's completely soured the product. Completely and utterly soured the product. And, like, at this point, I know that I'm rambling. I really do know that I'm rambling, because this is like a real rambling sort of situation here. This, how can I put this? You know what? I'm not, because I've been holding back and not wanting to put this in a way to where it's going to make people mad. But at this point, I really don't even care. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to be real. I think that CM Punk was sabotaged since it was kind of came out that he was clearly the biggest star there. I think that the elite, and specifically the Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page, found that they did not like this dude because he has more value than they do in the wrestling space. I really do believe that. They planted the seeds with the Colt Cabana thing, where they were saying that CM Punk was trying to get him fired. I believe that there may be some validity to that. Sure, CM Punk may not have wanted to work with this dude. Sure, he may not have wanted to be around this dude. Do I think that he went and purposely made sure that this dude got fired? No, I really don't think so. CM Punk, based on how this situation has gone, he doesn't come across as the guy that's like, hey, you have to fire this dude in order for me to work here. Because even now, it's clear that Tony Khan was willing to damn near break his fucking neck for this man to be able to stay on the roster. He was trying to work out things with the other side, and it wasn't the energy wasn't reciprocated, which once again holds validity to this fact that he didn't try to get this man fired. It's Colt Cabana in the first place. The next part to this is the reason why I think that they essentially sabotaged this man was because they knew they had already built this line of division here, not only amongst the wrestlers in the locker room, but amongst the fans. And that is because of their use of the wrestling journalists and the wrestling websites and all these other things. And the fact that I personally believe that they are really connected to these people. You know, the Young Bucks have a move called the Meltzer Driver, which Dave Meltzer is a wrestling journalist, probably the longest standing wrestling journalist in the world for the most part. And they have a move named after this guy. But you look at the way this man rates their matches. They don't, in his eyes, they never have a bad match. in his eyes, they're always putting out 4 and 5 star matches. And it's odd that is the way that it is, because I will put on AEW with my fiance. My fiance and I, we watch wrestling, but AEW is a lot harder for her to digest because of the certain niche that it is geared towards. So I don't watch that as much with her. I'll put it on like if there's nothing else on TV, and we'll watch it. We may watch some of it together. But the one thing that she always says about the Young Bucks and the Elite, what, their moves don't look real. They don't look really real. Like, it looks fake. But somehow Dave Meltzer, who is this esteemed wrestling journalist whose opinion people for some reason really value, and it's weird that I'm saying people really value, because I personally don't value it, but I just think that it's odd that for those that do, constantly giving them 5, 6, 8-star match ratings or whatever the fuck, for no matter if they're facing the Hardy Boys or if they're facing you and I in a match. Like, he's guaranteed to give them 5 stars. But the thing about that is, it's clear that they have his ear. It's clear that they have his ear, or if nothing else, they come to him with certain stories about certain things. Just the way that it's presented, the way that the side is given. And it seems like it's always geared in their favor. It's never... When is the last time you heard a story come out of AEW that was not geared towards the side of the Elite? Because I can't name one. I've never heard one. Everything that has ever came out of that company, and especially in regards to the CM Punk situation, from the side of the journalists, the initial report, the initial news was always something against CM Punk. And that is not by accident. That is not by accident. And between that, also the fact that all this stuff played out, and CM Punk tried to apologize to them and has publicly stated that he's tried to sit down and apologize to these guys, and they refuse to allow him to apologize to him. They refuse to sit down in the room and talk with him. And see, now, it's funny now, because the things happened with AEW and CM Punk got fired, and now the reports come out that, well, there was supposed to be this sit-down meeting, for them to all hash things out last week before the All In incident. And it's just one of those things where the Jungle Boy situation happens, where CM Punk clearly, had an issue with that. And it wasn't anything that escalated more than that. Jack Perry uses the real glass, goes against what CM Punk says, uses the real glass, and it leads to a confrontation in the back, right? And even still with this confrontation, there's mixed sort of things about it. Did CM Punk go up to him aggressively, like, dude, you have a problem with me, and lead to this fight? Or was it Jack Perry? Who really knows at this point? There's always 85 different versions of the story, not including the truth. But it's just real convenient to me that this thing happened, and that's when, they were ready to sit down and have a conversation with him. It's real convenient. Especially, it's real convenient that came out. Like, once again, another sort of scenario where it's like, something's not adding up right. Like, so now y'all are ready to sit down with this man, now the report comes out that y'all are ready to sit down with this man. Once something happens again that's going to lead, that led to him getting fired, like, it's a lot. It's stupid. It's comedic. And to be honest with you, this is probably going to be the thing that makes people lose interest in AEW. Their fan base is such a niche, such a protected group, such a protected audience, such a real niche audience, and an audience that, in all honesty, isn't welcoming themselves for new people to want to come into it. They have no real understanding and idea that, hey, This whole thing with wrestling and everything is about making money. CM Punk was there to make money. CM Punk made money for the company. He elevated the company in all different type of ways. And now you've lost that person. And not only did you lose CM Punk, but you're going to lose more people, because I'm sure there's plenty of other people in that locker room that feel the same way CM Punk feels about the way that things are ran, the way things have played out, the way that it seems like it's real cliquish backstage. And it's really just focused about making sure that people's friends are being successful there at every turn. And they're going to leave too. You know, look at someone like a Wardlow. Wardlow got over. I became a fan of Wardlow. He was just going out there power bombing people. Nothing more, nothing less. He was a badass dude going out there power bombing people. Where's he been? He hasn't been on TV. He hasn't been doing anything. But it seemed like anytime someone was starting to get more popular than the group of the elite that weren't directly friends with them or didn't directly sing in their praises constantly, they were taken off TV. There was an issue that come up backstage where the rumor come out. It just constantly happened. And like I've said before, and like I said in episode 2 of Broadcast Wrestling, that has completely taken away from the product. It has gone to the point to where now, to me, why would I even watch this product? Why as a fan should I watch this product? Because I see and I sense where things are going. I see and sense that this company is really it's really going to be built for this niche audience, which is cool. It's great if that's what you're into. Me personally, I can only take that in doses. I'm just not cut from that cloth, man. I'm sorry. I'm just not, bro. Like, I like wrestling. I'm a big fan of wrestling. I pay attention to it. I follow it. But I'm just not cut from that nerd wrestling culture cloth, man. I'm just not. That ain't me. And that is what AEW is geared towards. And it's clear now that that's what it's geared towards. It ain't about making money. It ain't about being a real, true competitor. It's built to be just all friends wrestling. And it's sad. AEW is about to lose out on a lot of money. And I'm just ready. I'm ready to see how this thing plays out. I rambled long enough about this. I put my opinion out there long enough about this. This is the only time that I am going to really talk about this by myself. If you know, someone comes on and I'll do an interview about it or whatever. But it's just sad. CM Punk is going to end up in WWE, and not only is he going, and this is, excuse me, this is a prediction that I'm going to make about CM Punk going forward. CM Punk will go back to WWE. And not only will he come back to WWE, but I think he's going to take that championship, the real world champion as he was advertising it, that AEW title, he's going to take it to television, and he's going to set that bitch on fire. I am predicting that right now, that he's going to go into WWE, he's going to take that belt, and he's going to dump it in the garbage. Out of pettiness, out of disrespect, that is what I'm seeing. And that is my prediction of what is going to happen here. And it's going to lead to more problems. They're probably going to get sued, a whole bunch of other things. But this saga isn't over. This issue isn't over. I can't wait to hear what CM Punk has to say about it, because he is the only person throughout this entire situation to show any sort of nuts about anything and put a real name and a face to the statement. In terms of Tony Khan, right, the way that you handled this CM Punk situation, you have let it be known right now that you're going to allow the people that you're friends with, that you really like, to walk all over you. Sure, you fired him and you got the problem out of the locker room, or the alleged problem out of the locker room. But what's that going to stop anybody else from doing something similar? I just think that he doesn't have any real control over that locker room. And firing one person isn't going to do that. Firing CM Punk because he got into fights backstage, that's not you showing real power and showing authority. That is more so that you're showing, hey, you can't fight in the locker room twice. We'll fire you if you fight in the locker room twice. Because the situation should have been handled. CM Punk and the Elite and all these guys should have been sat down when the issues first started and said, hey, y'all settle this right here, right now. If you're not going to, then all of y'all are going home and I'll figure out a way to not pay y'all. That didn't happen, of course, but now that he's fired CM Punk, it doesn't show strength. It doesn't show that he has his backbone or whatever. It just shows that not even just based on the way that he's handled this, but based on the situation and the way that he framed it last night when he came on Collision, it just seems like he was caught in the crossfires on one of this situation, and he got scared and was like, well, I can't control this guy, this guy isn't my friend anymore, so I need to let him go. And it's sad, and that's not a real boss move. That's not real boss behavior. And yeah, this whole situation is unfortunate. It's sad. It's stupid. It should have been prevented. It should have never happened. And at this point, AEW audience is going to start diminishing. I have a feeling that their audience will start to drop in due time. I don't think that this is a situation where their fan base and their audience is just going to stay stagnant. You're going to start seeing people drop off more and more. You really are going to start seeing people drop off. Fans stop watching, especially Collision, because Collision was the CM Punk show, and now he's not even going to be on there anymore. And it's going to become Dynamite Light, which Dynamite is its own sort of hodgepodge of shit, but fortunate situation, and it's really sad the way this thing has played out. But yeah, CM Punk gets fired from AEW. Sabotage, man. That's really all I can say. That's really all I can preface it by saying. And personally, I've rambled on too long about this whole damn thing in the first place. It's going on 30 minutes, but yeah, please, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Comment, let me know what y'all think about the whole CM Punk situation. Was he justified in getting fired? Which side are you on? Because apparently everybody's had to pick a side on this thing. If you're listening on Spotify, please follow the show. Give us 5-star rating. That would be very nice and helpful. Get the word out there. If you want to follow us on social media, follow the page at BroadcastPW on Instagram and Twitter. That's Broadcast, BroadcastPW, Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to get any non-wrestling related sort of content, follow the Broadcast Network on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok as well, at Broadcast Network. That's BRODCAST Network on all those platforms. And yeah, if y'all want to follow me personally, send me jokes, send me stories to cover, whatever the case might be, at Life as a Broadcast on Instagram and Twitter, all spelled broadcast the same way as the other two platforms. So yeah, CM Punk, tough break, nigga. Tough break. But everything will work out for you in the end. And yeah, hope everybody enjoyed. It's been Broadcast Wrestling, episode 4. Been your boy Brody. Thank y'all, as always, like I said, for tapping in. God bless y'all, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.